Profanity Nation.
Yeah, it's the new era of man for some old school fans with a new school brand. We got money on the mic with the plan in hand. And Stat Pat to his left, they go hand in hand. And to the right, we got Simpster, he putting it down. It's the Profanity Nation, we running the town. Yeah,
It's the Profanity Nation.
Profanity Nation.
Baby, you know what time it is.
What is this?
Here we go. It is time for the Profanity Nation podcast.
Hey, how do we have what? We have two intros now? Is that what we
No, that's just like an intro song to get the energy going.
Man.
I think our normal theme song does okay, but that one, I don't know. I was listening to it on the way in, and I said I'm going to play it.
Man, look.
You didn't leave.
I'm going to say Jeff is so Jeff.
There it is, Jeff.
Hey, that's okay.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
That's not bad.
Welcome to the Profanity Nation podcast, where we are the voice of the professional fan. As always, I'm joined here by my co-host. This time we have a full host set here. Money Mike is back.
Man.
How you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm good. And had a great Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Came back from Hawaii. I got back before the blizzard.
You got exactly right.
Oh,
Snow.
yo,
What the hell?
Yo, it's 100 miles an hour and snow.
And like
y'all
snow,
talking about?
exactly. My girl told me. Stat Pat, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. But first, I gotta get this out. Fire Vogel.
Fire Vogel.
Fire Vogel.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I think that was gonna be my out of bounds.
Well, we'll see. I think you could still use it. And it's no, you're not out of bounds.
God.
And
Oh
no,
my
you're
God.
definitely not out of bounds, if
man.
that's what you're saying there, guys. Okay, so we have a great show here tonight. As you guys know, the Lakers are definitely suffering a little bit, and they just lost against. Yeah, that's what we're calling it. They just lost against their buddies down the hallway, and I happened to be in the building for that game, so I can talk about
Who are you looking directly across from?
Yeah, I know. He was the loudest one in the room, our boy Clipper Darrell, and he got the best of us, so that really ate me up. It's kind of ironic how I noticed he was there, but as always, we'll get to that story, but as always, we get started with our buddy, our friend, and our confidant, Mr. Marco Nunez. Let's bring him in right now. Marco, how are you doing?
Doing well. It looks like, are we ending the year with the new chant? Is that what it is?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, dude. I'm just trying to get it out there. Energy, just putting it out there in the universe. Just trying to project what I need to see happen. I mean, at this point, I'm all out of words. I mean, we're
fans here. We're fans.
Yeah, there's a short list of teams as the Lakers where you play who you play against that you need to beat or you cannot lose to. Obviously, Boston's one of them. The Clippers are right there as well, and it's always tough, especially like you said. It's our neighbor next door.
Well, if I'm right, Boston's coming up here soon, right? Tuesday.
I mean,
Tuesday. So, so this could be the week that this all goes down and happens.
Right? Because how much did we lose by in Boston? And they did the beat LA 10.
Yeah, well, that's a given. Yeah. All right. So we will get to that. But always, as usual, Marco, you are here to help us out with some injury questions. But we actually have a guest tonight that actually has some questions for you. We're going to go ahead and bring her on. Please, Mike, will you please introduce our guest?
Yeah, she's a really good friend in the family. I know she's been having a couple of issues with her knees and stuff. So I said, hey, how would you like to talk to the former head athletic trainer? She said she would love to. So her name is Miss Katrina, and I'll let her go ahead and explain everything to you. She explained it to me, but I didn't know what to tell her. So I figured I'd get someone that would know.
How you doing, Katrina? How are you feeling?
I am doing well. As a matter of fact, my knee does hurt. So when I'm done with this, I will put an ice pack on it. Okay. Basically, the issue is I really believe I injured it by going to the gym, like on the elliptical or something like that. But this was like, I would say over 10 years. So I've been dealing with it, and then it'll stop, and then it'll feel good. So it would swell up where I can't even bend it. And then that's when I go to the doctor's inflammation. So I've had about 3 cortisone shots within the 10 years. Like I just recently had a cortisone shot maybe 2 months ago because I couldn't bend it again. But they have, I've had x-rays and MRIs, and basically the doctor said that I have a torn meniscus.
Oh, okay.
And they're not sure if I have a torn ACL. He said he would have to go in to check, but I guess on the MRI tech person saying it could be a torn ACL, but it's definitely torn meniscus. He put an S on it, and I was like, with an S? So it's been, he said I could do surgery, but I'm trying to do other methods. I did do a cortisone. I know you don't supposed to do cortisone shots often. So I'm trying to like take turmeric, doing a lot of stuff, stay out of my heels.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in heels a lot.
That's good.
Correct. So let's just start a little bit. So the meniscus, like everybody, I don't know if a lot of people are aware, the meniscus is just like a little kind of like gel pack that's between the two bones in your knee, and basically it helps to reduce friction, and it becomes like a shock absorbent for that area type thing. Unfortunately, there's very poor blood supply to that area, so when you do tear it, it does not heal on its own. So oftentimes they have to go there and do surgery. And oftentimes what they do is called if they take it out, or something called a meniscectomy, where they go in there, do a scope, and they just kind of clean it out. The way I describe it to everybody is, imagine you have some Jello, right? And you have like, the Jello's like nice and smooth at the very top. You take a fork, you puncture the Jello, and then you turn the Jello, and it gets all like kind of like little pieces are kind of all scattered. That's kind of like what it looks like. And what they do is, and then what you do is that you take a spoon, and you kind of clean that up and you smooth it out. And that's what they'll do when you do a scope or a meniscectomy. They'll take that little piece that's all jagged up. Now, those pieces that are floating are the ones that are creating that pain for you. They're creating that inflammation. Now, a meniscectomy is a very quick surgery. The surgery itself is shorter than actually the whole process. And the return to rehab is actually pretty quick. It's anywhere maybe about 4 weeks or so. Now, the ACL is a whole different ball game here. Now, that you got to make sure that you have that. Now, what I'd recommend to do is maybe try to get a second MRI if you can, but make sure to try to get one when there's very low inflammation or no inflammation. Because sometimes the inflammation or the swelling in there can disrupt the image, and then that's why sometimes the doctor cannot see whether it's a torn or not, if it's torn or not. I'm not a big fan of, hey, let's go in and open you up and see what's going on there. No. You got to tell me what's going on. You're going to, before you go in there, because you're not going to open me up and say, hey, let's keep our fingers crossed and let's see what happens. No, I'm not a fan of that. So hopefully it's not. Now, as far as the meniscus, unfortunately, that inflammation will be there. You can do exercises to try to reduce this. There's certain exercises or activities that you may not be able to do. Don't do any deep squatting, no rotation, anything heavy jumping. You may have to kind of try to limit, but you can rehab it and kind of build the strength around that knee. But you will have some episodes where there will be some inflammation and stuff like that. Just icing it, putting some compression in that area that can help you. Now, if you get to the point, hey, you know what, this bugs me so much, you said it's been about 10 years, you may want to consider the meniscectomy where they go in there and clean it up. But make sure that you do have an ACL before they open you up just to do that. Don't have, hey, let's just go ahead and see. I'm not a fan of that. I've never liked that. But
I'm not a fan of getting opened up either. I did have physical therapy for a while, which it helped. And then now I try to, like take off my heels, don't wear them too long, ice the knee, because I'm just not trying to do the surgery. And he also mentioned that I do have arthritis, a little bit of arthritis in the left knee.
So if you do have a little bit of arthritis, there are some other injections, and they're called like Synvisc. And the Synvisc are basically kind of like lubrication for the knee, and that does help you a lot with the arthritis. Now, like you mentioned, as far as the physical therapy, when we did physical therapy, it did help you because you were doing the exercise. Now, the one thing about, because you have the meniscus in there, you have to keep in mind that it's just because you do physical therapy for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, it stops. You got to continue it on. This is pretty much going to be a lifestyle change for you. You got to always, every time you go to the gym, you have to do this program every single day. So it's something that's going to be part of your life to try to kind of maintain it if you're trying to avoid the surgery. That's where you got to kind of have that mindset. So there is things you can do to try to strengthen it. As far as the ACL, as an adult, unless you're planning to return to sports. Do you need an ACL? No, you don't need an ACL unless you're planning to play basketball, planning to play football, planning to be super, super active. You don't need one, so to speak. But because sometimes the surgery is a little more chaotic than what it is. But definitely, you got to get a proper strengthening program for the knee, some stability in there. Always kind of make sure you ice. Even when you feel good and you don't have swelling, you have to ice every single time as a precautionary type of thing. Money Mike, I think you might have had a question. Somebody had a question up there.
No. I think it's good because it's always interesting to me because, I mean, I'm not going to say a regular person, but she is a person that just has regular job, not really an athlete and things like that. So it's I know those treatments are different.
Yeah, the parameters are going to be a little bit different for what you might need.
Right. Because, I mean, obviously, if she was about to go and be Candace Parker and dunk on people, then she would have already got it done. But, as a regular job, the average person, I guess, I don't want to call it regular, but average person, it's if you just, like you said, if you just keep up the therapy and things like that, can that prevent her from ever having the surgery, or is the surgery going to probably be is she delaying the process and it's something that may eventually have to happen?
No, I mean, it can delay the surgery. The only thing you got to keep an eye on is if the meniscus tear in there is attributing to more of the arthritis. If you do an x-ray and the arthritis is getting worse and worse because the bone on bone is kind of irritating that part, then that's something you want to keep an eye on. Like I said, the meniscectomy, where they go in to do the meniscus scope, it's outpatient. Within about 4 weeks, you should be back to normal, to your normal activities. You're actually, as soon as you're done with surgery, you're going to walk out. You're literally going to put weight on it. You're going to walk out. They're going to make you walk out. You may be a little sore, but within a couple of days, you should be fine. A normal meniscectomy for athletes when they return to play, it's anywhere between about 4 to 8 weeks. Now, I'm talking about 4 to 8 weeks for them to play on the court and go all out. For the average person, about 4 weeks, you should kind of be fine. Like I said, but the ACL, make sure whether the ACL is torn or not before they go mess with anything on that part. But the mastectomy is something that you may want to consider. It's very minute, non-invasive. You kind of go in and go out type of thing. But if you want to wait as long as you can, yes, you can definitely get in on a great rehab program, strengthen the knee, stabilize it, and there's some exercises that you may have to avoid, some activities you may have to avoid, just so you won't aggravate it or make it worse.
I understand the athlete portion of it, but again, she's an average person, so I'm gonna ask a question that she's gonna ask. When, if she went and had the surgery, when can she start wearing heels again? That's the question.
Well, I guess it depends on how high the heels we're talking about, but yeah, you're probably looking at about 4 weeks.
Okay,
afterwards.
Cool. So, so in 4 weeks, good rehab, Miss Katrina, you'll be able to be in your heels again,
just like new.
Okay, I do have a question.
Please.
Is it, I mean, eventually, if I have to get surgery, I mean, I'm not 20 and 30. I mean, I don't have a problem telling my age. I'm 51. So I don't want to be trying to have surgery when I'm in my 60s.
Correct. Yes. So that's the thing about it. The one issue you want to look at is the arthritis part that you're kind of considering right now. So if you said they do have some minor arthritis issues in your knee, is the meniscus tear, is that attributing to the arthritis? If that is the case, and your doctor feels that is the case, then you may want to consider having the meniscectomy to avoid arthritis. Because once you get arthritis and it gets worse, then we're talking about a whole knee replacement, and you do not want that.
No.
All right.
No. We want to stay away from all that stuff. So obviously, for now, definitely getting a great strengthening program, rehab program. Just like you said, when you did physical therapy, you felt good. You got to stick with that. You got to go back to do that stuff like that. There's plenty of people. If you want, we can connect afterwards. They have my number, other stuff, and we can try to get you something going on that part, or we can find someone in your local area.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
This was really good. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for Katrina. Everyone else listening is also sitting here saying it was it was very helpful. So we really appreciate you sharing your story.
You'll be back in those heels in 4 weeks. That's all.
Yeah, I gotta get you back. Get the appointment. Right. Thank you, Katrina.
You have a great rest of the evening. Thank you for coming on.
Take care.
Bye. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, Marco. Great job. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, Money Mike.
Hey, so real quick, man. So I'm looking at two things kind of going on. I'm hearing about Trevor, I guess he's kind of healed. They have him on non-contact. And then I hear Clay, and, they're sending them down to the G League to go get some work. Can we just send Trevor down to G League to go get some work too? And, like, what's this non-contact stuff versus what Klay Thompson going down to the G League to kind of do? Are these? I know they're two separate injuries, but I think that they still kind of have. Is Klay going down there because he's trying to get in game shape? And how beneficiary is non-contact for Trevor? I'm being
So they're basically in two different stages of the rehab process right now. So I would say Klay is a little further in advance or further ahead than Trevor Ariza right now. Meaning because Klay is able to go down there, play in the G League, and play what we refer to as contact activities versus non-contact. Non-contact is where an athlete's able to. It's basically, like I said, it's basically an athlete doing non-contact. He's on the court by himself, nobody else around him. So he has complete control of his body. He can pivot, he can move, he can stop, he can go whenever he wants, and does that. So there's nobody else, nobody to bump him. Klay, on the other hand, is clear to do contact, so he's able to play the games because a majority of the injuries can occur during contactivity. When someone bumps you, someone hits you, if you're not ready to take that load or that bump, you can re-aggravate or injure. So in other words, Trevor Ariza and Klay Thomas are in two separate stages of rehab right now. Klay is a lot more advanced. That's why he's cleared to do contact stuff. So he's pretty much close to be able to return. And then, too, just like I mentioned, he's also in the stage of trying to get that conditioning back ready to go, kind of like what they refer to as game shape. He's trying to get back into game shape, where Trevor is not there yet.
Well, look, apparently Trevor's answer. So what can we do? I mean, how many days he gonna be in the gym by himself? I mean, because we need something.
All hands on deck.
All hands on. Yeah, we're in bad shape.
Obviously, LeBron didn't good when he came back. We lost by 20. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
All right. So I have a quick question. Since we haven't updated in a little while, how's your fantasy team going?
My fantasy is a fantasy right now.
It was a fantasy.
Look, I went from undefeated to losing like 4 in a row.
So. It's almost the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah. So
today.
Without after Marco let me know that I wasn't getting Henry back, I have nobody. And then
look at how sad he sounds. He's like, I have nobody.
I have nobody. I got Adrian Peterson. I tried him. He got cut. And then I dropped him, and then he actually
got picked up.
Got picked up and actually performed pretty well today. So, that's what happens, man. Fantasy football is
fickle fantasy.
How's your team going, Marco?
Same thing. I started well, and my team's kind of struggling. I have two of them. One of them is struggling. The other one's doing well. I'm in second place, so can't complain.
All right. You're in the mix. Marco, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sticking around, and thank you for helping Katrina and everybody else who's listening, because a lot of people are suffering with that type of knee problem. So we really appreciate it. Please let everybody know how they can get even more knowledge and bits of information just like you shared tonight.
Yeah, no problem. If you guys have any questions, you guys are welcome to DM me on my Instagram at MarcoANunez17. You can also follow me there for videos, or you can also subscribe to Evolve Athletic Performance, where I put up weekly sports fitness tips of the weeks.
All right, Marco. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Marco.
All right, thanks, Marco.
Bye-bye. All right. That was actually nice. Again, I think a lot of people deal with those knee problems, and they're debating, do I go in for surgery? I would never make that decision for someone, but if you're talking 4 weeks, relatively simple, it seems like.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I have a feeling it's one of those things that you'll eventually get to, and you'll be like, why didn't I just do this sooner? Type of thing. And I suffered for a while. So hopefully she'll figure out what's best for her. But she's got to check that ACL first. Absolutely. So very interesting stuff. Okay, so let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we know, and the Lakers are in trouble. The Lakers just can't seem to find a rhythm. The Lakers can't seem to get the wins back to back or piling up. And every time you think they turn a corner, they take 4 steps backwards. Vogel has the nerve to say they needed a halftime talking to, and that got them going. That
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Come on. I mean, these are champion players. These are veterans. No one needs a halftime talking to by Frank Vogel.
No.
They're in really a bad way, Pat. And, they didn't necessarily look terrible against the Clippers. However, their defense is just horrendous. Their decision making on defense.
Yeah.
Please.
What I noticed when it comes to them, the Lakers, when they play in defense, especially when it comes to the pick and roll, there's way too many easy baskets off the pick and roll, off a simple one pick, and then it's a lob. It's like there's no rotation. And I don't want to call anybody, out or anything like that.
can.
But
Please do.
I just noticed that we don't have the same like energy, or I would say the same a point of attack on defense at the top. Like we don't get any of that anymore. Like we'll allow people to come down the court, get into their sets. There's no harassing. Obviously it sounds like we need more of a Caruso out there to go ahead and be a disruptor, because we don't have anybody like that at the point of attack at the ball. On ball defense is pretty much non-existent. And then when you see there's so many times, the rotations are just not there. And that begs the question, why are we not knowing our assignments on defense? Why is it?
How is that possible?
Yeah, how is that possible? How is like the simple action of a pick and roll throws everything out of whack, which every team in the league does the pick and roll.
And they're going to keep playing it, especially when they're scouting that's the squad.
And it's the weakness. And I don't understand it. And they need to get that fixed.
Money Mike. Defense is a team sport. Okay, you get one guy out of rotation in the wrong spot and everyone pays the price because everyone's trying to help out and make up for that one guy. But that doesn't seem to be what's going on here. What seems to be, at least in my eyes, is the same way they're playing lazy offense where they're hanging around that 3-point line. They're playing lazy defense, and it's the same crap. Mm-hmm. It's the same lack of heart, lack of drive. Money, what do you see out there?
I'm confused on so many levels, right? Because I'm listening to these post-game press conferences, and AD is telling me what happened exactly with that play. LeBron tells me exactly what happens in that play. These veterans that we have, because we have a older team, however you want to say, they're literally telling us what happens, and what the breakdown was, right? So at what point do we actually take that post-game commentary and actually apply it to the next game?
Right.
Because, look, Vogel's not a good coach. We can recognize that.
That's got to be established already.
Yeah, we know. And listen, you see that all the time. Like I always said, the reason why the Celtics won a championship was because of Tom Thibodeau, not because of Doc Rivers. I mean, we know that the assistant coaches are the ones that create, the real things that go on in the court day in and day out. So they have different relationships and things like that.
Well, but the assistants are the ones that scout each team. So each assistant's responsible for scouting this team or that team as they're approaching. And if you don't have that, or a coach who doesn't know what to do with that information.
But okay, listen, we can blame Frank Vogel, but can we put, and we'll go to Clubhouse with this, but can't we put some of this on the veterans?
Yes, because they should be able to play it despite. They should be getting some of these wins despite no offense and not playing defense. It should just be a given.
Yes.
Because you literally are saying, at halftime, like you said, is that they had to get a pep talk. That's like some high school stuff to me.
Yeah, it is.
Second of all, the team was 44-12, and oh my God, we came back and blew them up by 30. We are literally 500 and below teams we're having problems with.
Yes,
and we haven't even really gotten to actually a first or second place team. Like I hate to play that. Why is every under 500 team competitive?
Dude, they are salivating to get to the Lakers.
I know. It's like
the Lakers are straight chicken soup for their egos. It's like, come on, kids, let's go beat up on some old guys here, some old veteran superstars. Look how good you feel.
Yeah.
You'll be able to tell your kids you beat LeBron, Westbrook, and AD.
Yeah. Look,
that's what it's become.
It's like this, man, and we'll go into football, right? Everybody know the Rams lost 3 in a row. They're playing the Jaguars today.
Right.
You're going to beat the Jaguars.
And they did what they were supposed to do. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but you can't even tout them and say, oh my God, they came back over. It's the Jaguars.
Right.
It's like, that is not a major accomplishment to beat the Jaguars, right? Like, you already know, what that team is. We haven't played.
So you didn't like that they were popping champagne and Oh, that's
no,
they were. Yeah, I know they were.
Yeah.
I did. They were not doing that. I'll do that.
Well, and let me ask, hey, Andrea, what can we do? Are we getting rid of the players and the coaches, or
How do you feel, Andrea?
who we getting rid of first?
First and foremost, don't come for the Rams like that. At least they took care of business.
Okay.
It was a blowout,
Got
and
you.
it was a momentum shift. So we got to give them credit, even though it was Jacksonville. They took care of business. Unlike the Lakers, who struggle against these lower bottom feeders, right?
Mhm.
So who goes first? Vogel. I said this about 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
That's a real good answer. I mean, we have, like you guys were saying, the pick and roll is not being defended. We're not switching. We're not trapping the dribbler as they're coming up the court. Like, Russ is the first stage of this, right? Because he's our starting point guard. There's no aggression or any type of pressure on that person bringing the ball up. Then it trickles down in momentum, because after you beat Russ off the dribble while he's complaining to the ref, then somebody has to switch. The only person that literally plays the pick and roll well, to be honest, even though we dog him out, Anthony Davis is the best defender we have. And that's it.
Most consistent.
Everybody else is lost. And it's a problem, because every team that's competitive for us, they run this same offense. Suns are efficient at it. Warriors are efficient at it. And the list goes on. So if we don't get this crap together, and Vogel, your expertise is defense, and you can't get that, I don't know why you're here.
But again, let me ask you. I mean, shouldn't the players know this too? Like, we're talking about,
Absolutely.
It's pretty basic stuff. Like, if they just went back to basic defensive plays, they'd be doing better than what they're doing here.
Well, absolutely. They should be doing better. But then again, let's switch it. I know they're veterans and they should be doing this. It's apparent he's lost the locker room, dude. During timeouts, if you guys are watching, like during timeouts, nobody goes to him. He don't have no clipboard out. Like, there is nothing that shows he has this team. I don't think they're motivated. You need to shake something up ASAP. And that shakeup should just be the first person to go. If you're gonna cut a player too, by all means, I'm ready and willing. Let's cut Kent Bazemore. Let's cut DeAndre Jordan. Let's do it. Let's start shaking stuff up so we can get moving.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like Pelinka's doing that though. He's like trying to make like another blockbuster trade. It seems like.
Well, I mean, to me, it just seems like they're just coasting. To
where they're not winning.
No, but see, this is okay. So this is what I'm talking about,
and that's a problem.
So you see, like, I've heard this argument. I'm going on like a lot of message boards and stuff, and you start seeing, well, the Lakers are only a game and a half out of fourth place. And you like, wait a minute, but we're still like 500. I don't give a damn if we're at 1.5 games out of fourth place. I don't give a damn. We're still, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're still 500.
They're going to start pulling away.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so basically that's what we're shooting for. Because
that's the same as it's only preseason.
That's what I'm talking about, and you can see it in the body language on the players. There's so many teams. I mean, so many players. Like, let's just go back to the Clipper game. The end of the game, okay? Paul George ain't hit a three all game. I mean, if he hit one in the first 2 minutes of the first quarter. If he did, I don't know if he did anymore, but he was pretty much not having his best game. And Luke Kennard comes in there, and I think he hit 3 in a row? Like, he hit 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And like, so he's the hot one, but leave
him open.
But we go ahead and leave him open. And we went based upon just star power or whatever. We had to go ahead and double Paul George. That's a coaching situation right there. That's like, I don't know. I like basically
call a friggin' timeout.
Who can you leave and who you have to stay home on. And the fact that they're not doing that, it's just bad all the way around. And I don't know. I know we're going to hold the veterans accountable. I know that. And yes, they should. It should be a lot on their plate. But when you have a guy that his hallmark is defense, and we're not doing anything basic, like I've seen Thibodeau
at this point.
But I've seen Thibodeau take like anybody, and
turn him into a defensive.
He got the Knicks job, and the Knicks were a laughingstock, and all of a sudden he just made all these guys that supposedly didn't play defense. All of a sudden, now they're top 10 in the league in defense because he knows defense. He doesn't matter what the personnel is. He's gonna get the best out of that personnel. Same thing with the Lakers. If you're supposed to be a defensive coach, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to get these guys to play and buy in.
With this squad, they should be top 10 defense with a supposed defensive-minded coach, and they're far below that.
I mean, we're seeing literally like obvious things, right?
Right.
You see Kennard and Morris at the 3-point line. And I'm watching it on TV. So
wide open.
And I'm like, okay, this is where Tyrone Lue placed these people. So it's almost like he said, yeah, y'all go, let me go throw the ball to Paul George. And y'all, it's almost like he had a script, right?
Yeah. What
we're going to do is we're going to pass the ball to Paul George. Everybody going to double team him.
Yep.
Even though he only had 19 points. But, everybody, let's double team him. And then Paul George passes out to wide open. And then everybody's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe
he hit the shot."
Okay, wow. I have a question. Okay, Andre, are you still with us?
And we have other people in the room too. Anybody else want?
I am, and CJ's a Clipper fan too, so I know he'll want to.
Okay, well, we'll bring him in. I have a question for you, really quick, and whether or not we should or shouldn't read into this. So LeBron was asked, I guess, a little bit about Tyronn Lue. And he said that as a coach, he has no weakness. Is that a slight against Vogel, or is that just a compliment?
Well, let me.
Oh my God!
Oh,
hell
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is his. That's the shot across the bow, right?
For me, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, if I'm a 19-year-old, 19-year veteran. And I know my coach is whack. Can we just not listen to him and go? I mean, because first of all, this dude is when he's out there coaching and telling me everything when he's not playing. Why don't he do that when he's playing? Because Rondo does it. Rondo is on the court.
He's the player coach,
and he's moving people around and he's creating movement. Why isn't LeBron doing those same types of things?
That's a quick answer. I think, and this is just my personal opinion, I honestly feel like he wants him to crash and burn so we can get him out of here.
Yeah.
Don't help him, because once it gets down to the stretch in the playoffs, we don't want to be
what playoffs?
Playoffs?
Listen, hey,
playoffs? You talking playoffs?
Playoffs?
Hold on. You got to think about the future, okay? I understand what you're saying. I'm worried about the same thing, right? But the fact of the matter is we are literally a game and a half out of the 4th place, like you said. The West is not that hard this year, except for those 2 top-heavy teams. Everybody else is playing like crap. I don't know where Dame Lillard disappeared to.
Yeah.
Denver is injured. Other teams, Dallas is still trying to figure it out. They have good games, and they got bad games, and they got good games, and they got bad games. Clippers, we actually did not play bad against. We just didn't play defense. We have a lot of mediocre teams on the West with a couple top heavy teams, and that's it. So if we keep doing this back and forth, I'm pretty sure we'll make the playoffs. So that's why I said they're thinking if we get there, Frank Vogel cannot be there because he's not going to be the coach to take this roster to the promised land. It's just not going to happen.
Okay. Then without Frank Vogel, you now have a void. Who fills the void? That's always the question. A lot of people are saying fire Vogel. But who fills the void? Is it somebody who's already on our bench? Is there anyone out there?
Yes.
Oh,
No.
who do we got? Who chimed in, please?
Landon, go ahead.
I did. As you got Fisdale, who is a LeBron guy, and you have Phil Handy, that's a LeBron guy.
I like Phil Handy. So who takes so Fisdale and then move up Handy as lead assistant?
Probably.
Okay. What do you think about that?
Or very vice versa.
Who's talking? What's your name?
That's Landon.
Landon, thank you. Okay, what do you think of that idea? We talked about that, actually, that really Handy is the best coach that they have, the best player coach, no question, but I don't know that he's the team coach. I don't know. What do you think, Money Mike?
Look, I love Phil Handy for what he does, but he's never been a head coach. I know he has great relationships with the players. But these veterans look like they need to be coached because, because I've seen veteran teams actually go out there, not care really what the coach was doing, and then went out there and won the game, based on their own conversation amongst themselves. You know what I mean? You hear all the time when Kobe and when Powell or Kobe and Shaq would have conversations before, okay, look, we're going to go out there and win this game. And then it had nothing to do with the conversation with the coach. They just knew what they had to do on the floor to make those things happen. I just don't understand why we have these veterans and no one is doing those types of things. I mean,
Well, first of all, we're at this point where we should start hearing, well, we're going to have like a players only meeting. Like this is where we're starting to hear like this is the time. This would be the time where when everyone can see, you can hear the rumblings. Like this is the time somebody needs to be called a players only meeting. No one coaches or nothing like that. So let's go back to reason why I was saying that. Vogel is is the hot topic right now, because if he's like letting side chair GMs like me able to call him out, then I know the people that really get paid for this know exactly what they're doing. And now, case in point here, they had the incident with DJ. DJ came out of the starting lineup. They said we're gonna put in Dwight. I was happy about that.
Everybody was happy.
Everybody was happy about that. Cool. Now, got the rest of we got AD, we got LeBron, we got Westbrook, we got Dwight. Why aren't you starting Malik Monk? Why aren't you putting Monk in the starting lineup with this? Because we need spacing. Now, THT, I love the guy. He came out there with his hair on fire in the first few games.
I just saw a tweet come across. This is not Lakers related, but it is news. Brandon Ingram has requested a trade.
Wow.
That just came from Shams.
Well,
just came across.
He must have saw Zion and saw like, man, he ain't serious, man. That gonna eat me. My man ain't serious, man. Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? Like when it comes to Vogel, it's like you gotta put the best players on the court. I mean, you looking at the
maybe he don't know who the best players are.
Look, I'm sorry, man.
We all know who the best players on the court are.
All you got to do is go to basketballreference.com, whatever. You can look at somebody PER. You can see which combination of players are going to give you the maximizing the best. You can look at that, bro. I can get that. So I know people that are in charge and make millions of dollars to be able to do that too. So that's what I'm saying. All that is at his disposal. You can't have that and throw in THC, and then you see exactly what we're talking about. No spacing. Everyone's watching AD or LeBron or whatever go to work, and we don't have any continuity off. It just looks bad. And I'm thinking, okay, well, here we go. He doesn't know anything about the offensive side of the ball. But that's what I'm looking at. Like, when I see him making these bonehead rookie mistakes, and I'm like, wait a minute, you got a championship, dude. You got a champion. You're supposed to be a championship coach. What's going on?
He was carried to that championship.
So, hey, you know what?
No doubt.
Let's have some fun. I hear CJ is a Clipper fan. Did you feel like you won a championship on Friday? On Friday? Was that your ring?
Man. Nah, man. I'm one of the ones that started from Michael McCanny days. So I'm real humble when it comes to my fandom. Yeah, I'm real humble when it comes to my fandom. I respect y'all franchise. You know, I'm not the one that talks on the side. You know, I grew up with Drea, so she know I don't talk shit about Lakers at all. I respect y'all franchise and what y'all have done for the city of LA. You know, Kobe is my GOAT. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So that's a good pick.
Me being a Clipper fan, I do say this when it comes to what I see as far as Lakers. I watch both teams. I'm a huge Clippers fan, but I watch the Lakers just because I'm a basketball junkie. Frank Vogel doesn't make adjustments. You know, you guys made a perfect example. It was 4 plays in a row where PG had a pick and roll, and Russ and Monk, or Russ and whoever, they both pulled to him, leaving Kennard open on the free throw line or open on the 3-point line. And it was literally 4 plays in a row. You know what I'm saying? And as a veteran-led team, that shouldn't happen. I mean, I know we can put blame on Frank Vogel, but as a veteran-led team, as you said, PG wasn't having his good game, but Kennard was hot. So how is there 4 straight plays ran for him? There was one play that he was on an island, like he was by himself. Like that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen.
But you was happy every time it did, though. Admit it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, he's a fan, but I mean, but he giving his.
But he was shocked. He was shocked every single time too.
But basically, what he said, I can't believe it's this easy. And so for you to,
that's right. That's what he was saying.
Offense, the team, the Clippers, you're like, man, this is literally, like eating cake. Like
it's pretty much, dog.
Yeah. And can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
When it comes to THT, in my personal opinion, and this is just me watching the game, Russell Westbrook and THT are interchangeable to me.
They're redundant.
From watching their game, I just feel THT is more unturnover prone from Russ, and I think he has a better shot than Russ. But I just feel like they're interchangeable. I feel like you put in two Russes in the lineup with Bron and AD. I feel like Monk should come into the lineup, but the only thing when you put Monk into that starting lineup, defensively it drops even more. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, what are you're picking your poison here? Do you go for more scoring and less defense, or less scoring and a clog with more defense?
Okay, well, I would just say that. I would say this though. I would say to that though, is like the rotation or the lineup that you have, you ain't getting defense anyway. So it's like at this point, I mean, like, who's the defense? Like, where the defense coming from? Because I mean, are we taking out and we gonna get worse on defense? Like, no, I'd rather at this point,
nothing to lose.
Yeah, nothing to lose. Let's be more efficient on offense. Let's blow people out. And let's just win on offense, because obviously we never got a clue on defense.
Just give up on the D.
Yeah, just give up D.
So take a D'Antoni approach and just score the
straight Paul Westhead, old school Denver Nuggets, and just let's roll, baby.
Let's roll. Shoot.
What was that Dallas team that did that? They just tried to outscore everybody.
That was with
Donnie.
That was Donnie. That was back in the was that back in the day when they had like
man.
Was that back in the day when they had like Roy Tarpley? They had like Harper.
They got
Blackman.
120. They got 120
every day. Yeah, and same thing. Same thing with the Denver Nuggets with Fat Lever and Alex Angeles and all them. They were 120, 140, 140. It was like 140, 135. I was like, what the hell?
But look. They were in shape though, because they was running up and down, man. They got the other team tired.
That was their goal. That was their goal.
And plus, obviously, I mean, come on, dude, it was Denver. So if you going to Denver and
they mile high, you're already
and they running you,
yeah, you're already winded.
You
that's why their home record was so drastically different than their road record.
Come back off the mountain.
Yeah, exactly. Clubhouse. I think I heard you guys talking. Was anyone didn't want to say something?
I was saying, do we believe Warriors too? With Steven Jackson and Monte Ellis and Baron Davis, they was running them out too with no defense. And that was coached by Donnie, right?
Yep, we believe.
Yeah, we don't have that though. Let's be very clear, right? I just want us to be very honest with ourselves. There is not one damn person on the Lakers that can run. Okay?
That often, yeah,
that's true. Run period.
So we can't do this fast enough to score like that and be up and down the court. Listen, with all of these veterans, honestly speaking, the only way around this is like we have to have a consistent lineup and literally at least play man. We ain't got to do nothing special. There was no reason we should have trapped Paul George until he exposed how offensively dominant he was in that game. There's no way we should have done it. It should have just been man defense, no trapping, because it literally is Paul George and them. I don't understand why we're doing this. But to me, we have to lock in on defense because we don't have a sharp shooting team. We have, if anything, we have a bunch of people that can't shoot consistently. So we need to lock it in.
Okay, hang on, Andre. You're saying that's what we need to do, but where are we actually closer? Are we closer to getting a better offense or closer to getting a better defense?
We're as close as our record says we are.
Exactly.
We're right smack dab in the middle. Like, we need to just choose a way. And this is me being honest.
Choose a path.
Choose the direction we're going.
Gotcha.
Because I feel like that's majority of our problem. What the heck are we?
What's our identity? Yep.
Are we going to be a defensive specialist team? Are we going to sharpshoot? If that's the case, Carmelo, Malik Monk, and everybody needs to get more minutes if you're going to do that, right? I think they're just lost.
So, I mean, so basically what you're saying, Andre, if I'm hearing, like, we came out trapping Paul George in the first quarter, and we continued to trap him in the fourth quarter. Therefore, there was not an adjustment made based on the flow of the game. That's basically what we're saying.
As soon as we took the momentum away from Paul George, we should have then sought our eyes on who had that momentum, who was beating us, and then said, okay, Paul George, if you want to beat us, go ahead, but you're not gonna, and then, or Kennard, and then go from there. But
listen, there's no way Paul George could have beaten us by
exactly.
himself. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a coaching problem again. Like, there's no reason to trap him for a whole game. After you have him ice cold, dude, play man, right? His shots shouldn't just automatically fall. The person that gets red hot next, trap them. Like, you got to make adjustments, and we're not doing anything.
Hey, CJ, you're a Clipper fan. How do we beat y'all?
Man, that's a very good question. Because we haven't been playing good. That's
the problem.
Because our weakness right now, honestly, I mean, granted, our health is not good whatsoever. Like, I'm watching the fight as we speak, and I'm looking at Kawhi at the fight right now, and I just wish he was in Portland with us for tomorrow's game.
He's hanging at the fight.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Batum is our X factor, and he hasn't played in some games too with COVID protocol. But health and right now we just turn over the ball too much, man. So it's easy for us to turn over the ball. That's pretty much our weakness right now. Is just we don't have no continuity with each other, so we turn over the ball a lot. But all I was going to ask you guys was how much does Kendrick Nunn and Ariza help you guys?
Well, they're for defense, so I want a reason for defense.
Yeah,
and I hope he can just come in and actually play that, because they're not going to. We've already established it's not going to be coached. So hopefully, Trevor could see, just go in there and do that. Kendrick Nunn, he is okay defensively. Hopefully, be able to get some shots out, get hot.
Who minutes are they taking though?
I'm sorry.
Who minutes are they taking?
Man, he can have anybody except for ADs, as far as I'm concerned.
Kendrick can make sure that Russ gets more seeded minutes, like bench minutes. That's what I feel, because at the end of the day, it still is a glaring obvious fact that Russ and LeBron next to each other doesn't work. It's still the same. So I think that Kendrick should play alongside LeBron, and Russ should run the bench unit more so. Surround him with Malik Monk, Dwight Howard, bring in Carmelo, that whole unit. That's who Russ needs to run with, because y'all can run as fast as y'all want. All y'all can run with like a chicken with your heads cut off. Change the speed on offense on the bench. But I think that Russ needs to see minimal minutes next to LeBron, because I'm sorry, like it's just a train wreck. Everything's just a train wreck.
We've been saying that all year, though, right, Andre?
So then, is it fair? It's always fair to blame the coach somewhat, but is it really fair to blame the coach when, he was given this Westbrook and instead of a heel? Who knows what his vote was?
I totally believe that they had a conversation about this before.
Yeah, but he didn't have much of a vote. I can promise you that.
He definitely didn't have a say in that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
So if he said, no, I'd really like heel LeBron, everybody else just went, okay.
Well, that's why I'm a little perturbed about, okay, let's be fair here. The past 10 games, Westbrook has not been the problem. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Now, if there's some other advanced analytics to go ahead and be contrary to that point, then I'll be all for that, looking at that. But my eyeballs see that Westbrook has some issues, but the glaring issues that we were harping on in the beginning of the season, those are pretty much been reduced. So it's not the same guy.
Turnovers are down.
Yeah, turnovers are down pretty much, and he actually is like contributing. Like, I'm looking at him, and he's one of the players that I see sometimes have the heart. We don't have one thing that I noticed about the team 2 years ago is that we had dogs on defense, but we also had people that will make timely shots. So even though they were not really offensively gifted, they did make the shots when they counted. So when they were in there for just defensive purposes, when they would get the ball, they were able to make a basket. Now last year we changed the whole makeup of the team and it was different. But 2 years ago, it's kind of like what this team wants to try to go back to. But the thing is, there's some things that are missing here. You don't have that on the ball defense that you had once again. I mean, when Caruso was on the ball, and I hate going back to Caruso, but I don't want us to like stay in the past looking at Caruso. I just wish we could have replaced him with somebody of his type. If you're gonna lose him, then you need to replace the things that he does well. And we never replaced that. So when he's on the ball and he's doing his thing, and he's actually this year he's now the leader in steals. He's top. He's a steals per game, and I think total steals is like Caruso is number 1 in the league. So that's just sting a little bit. But going back to what we not even have it, like when he's on the ball, then you can go overplay a lot of stuff. Like you can jump in the passing lanes a little bit. You can get in. He makes your defense easier. Then you have the eraser Dwight Howard. All he's doing, or JaVale McGee, just blocking shots. You see the formula. The thing is, we don't have any of that, and sometimes our guards. I'll put it out there. Our guards be lazy sometimes.
Oh no,
they be lazy,
offense and
lazy on that pick and roll. Sometimes you'll see the guy, and I'm sorry, if Carmelo, I'm gonna tell you right now, if Carmelo Anthony is playing the corner 3, if his man is on the corner 3, and they doing pick and roll, he is not getting there over there to affect any of that pick and roll when that guy dives to the basket. He is just non-existent. He is taking the ball out of the basket. That's what he's doing because he's not playing any defense. So that's what I'm talking about. Like
but you knew what you were getting with Carmelo, though. So I mean, that's not a surprise.
Yeah, but dude, we hit a lot of people on 2 years ago. We hit a lot of people defensively. We hit people, but we're just so many holes, man. It's like a sieve right there. It was too many holes on defense. Before it used to be plug in one thing and then kind of like work around it. We have so many holes. If there's a Westbrook on the court and Carmelo on the court, then sometimes 9 out of 10, 8 out of those 10 times, you're not going to get the best defensive effort out of those two guys. So your defense is not always going to be consistent. So I don't know. I mean, it goes on the veterans. It also goes on the coaching, but they need to fix this thing right now before we get out of hand. I mean, it's getting that point. It's getting out of hand.
It's already out of hand for me.
Yeah, the problem is now is they've given just about the whole league confidence that they can beat the Lakers, and the Lakers have shown nothing. Absolutely nothing new, no growth, no anything to even say, well, if we just do more of that, if we just did this, other than you can say, well, Rondo, at least when he was out there, he was a general on the floor and actually put people in their place. Other than that, there's been no bright lights. There's been no, if we can just capture that and put it in a jar, we'd be good.
Right.
I mean, usually there's that. So I think we officially have to go on record as saying that, yes, the preseason was a sign. It was a precursor. It was a warning as to what was to come. And I just think we have to put to rest the whole that preseason doesn't matter anymore. It just does. It just does. For certain teams, it doesn't. If you're a 3-time championship team, maybe not. Right. But when you have a new squad every year, if you're going to run the Rob Pelinka plan, which is the 1-year, 2-year deals, that's it, and constantly rotate players, then preseason is extremely important. It just is.
I agree.
It just is. Money, how do you feel?
I'm just thinking because we're in LA, and okay, cool. We got that championship, then we lost this one. We lose another one, or we don't make it, or we don't get one this year. I think the people that are on our team are going to really recognize how LA feels about us not winning when we should have, or because look, I don't even see us getting out the first round, right? So at this moment, because you have teams that may not be on paper, you look at, oh my God, you got all these all-stars here, but their chemistry is better.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to play together. We don't. They have the complete opposite of what we have, and if we don't even have,
we have no
a showing. We don't have a showing in the playoffs. I think they're gonna really realize, like, okay, y'all really need to blow it because they didn't need to blow up the team. Now, in my opinion, there was no reason to blow up the team that we had previously. You know, that team to me was built better because everybody understood what their role was. This team, we basically put a whole bunch of MVP, superstars, and I always want to play with you, LeBron, and great, thank you for giving me the opportunity. And listen, Carmelo, let me tell you this. At the beginning of the season, I was like, dude, I don't, keep Carmelo away, and that's the guy that is doing exactly what he should be doing, and he's doing the best job. He's the most exciting person to want to watch.
He's the most consistent offensive player that we have,
right?
And you knew what to expect, and that's pretty much what we got.
And he's doing that. That's the problem though for me, because you have a certain expectation for LeBron. He's not doing that. You have a certain expectation for Dwight. He's not doing that. You have a certain expectation for everything else that they put in, the chemistry of Westbrook, and they're not doing that. The only one that's doing what we knew what he could do is Carmelo, coming out there and making shots. But we knew he wasn't going to get no assist, and we knew he wasn't going to play in the defense. So he's the only one I'm not mad at, right?
He's doing exactly what you expected.
He's doing exactly what he was expected.
Everyone else is playing below expectation.
Everybody else is doing everything different. Like LeBron used to have to chase down. Have we even had to chase down block this year?
That's a good point.
I mean,
no, I mean, when it comes to LeBron, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we also got. He is, like you said before, he is a 19-year veteran.
No, hey, wait a minute, hold up. Everybody was talking about how, oh my God, Father Time, it's not affecting him. He's the best player in the league. He's the GOAT.
So that's fine. But
he's still in his prime. I mean, this is the narrative that everybody was giving us.
We're going to also then, if we're going to talk about that, let's just talk about other people that played games up until 19, 20 years in the league.
No, we understand
and
that.
You tell me what they look like in 19.
I'm just saying what the narrative was.
I know the narrative. I'm just saying the narrative.
Yeah, but the narrative isn't saying, compare him to a 3-year vet. The narrative is, for this age, he's taking great care of his body compared to almost any player that's ever existed. And that has allowed him to maintain this level much longer than any other player ever has.
Look, this dude came off the injury and we lost by 20. I'm trying to figure out what was the difference from when he was.
But we were losing before he got in the court.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though. This dude literally is not making a difference. Can we lose by 5?
No, Money Mike.
There we go.
Okay.
Let's go, Clubhouse. Save us.
You have to recognize that I don't think people understand truly how chemistry and cohesion with new pieces is important. I feel like we keep trying to fit a circle into a square with this Russell and LeBron on the floor at the same time. The spacing is terrible. The defense is terrible. It doesn't work. And I think that it's not LeBron's fault. The trade was LeBron's fault, probably. Whoever asked for Russ, whoever okayed it,
LeBron.
This was going to
be. That's AD too, man.
Okay, but you know that this doesn't happen without LeBron's okay.
All of them included. Pelinka,
Pelinka is the one.
Brought him here. But fast forward, honestly speaking, LeBron James comes in and out of the lineup, and that's not an easy plug-in. You know what I'm saying? Every time he leaves and comes back, we got to start over with chemistry every time. And I think that's what our issue is, because our coach doesn't know how to make adjustments, which just packs onto the issue. And he doesn't know when to sub certain players. Like, for god-awful substitution timing. Like, he wants to leave LeBron on the floor till he's literally panting and falling over. You know what I'm saying? But I swear, it literally... the only thing that I think we need to do at this point, make an adjustment, shake something up. Fire somebody, cut somebody now. And that's what's going to shake us up. And I'm serious.
Okay, firing. See, I hear what you're saying, and that's a classic ploy to get a team riled up. Fire somebody, fire the coach, do this, do that. This is a veteran squad. It's just not going to, I don't see that working. Look, we can't, I hate to say it, we can't be much worse, but you fire Vogel. I'm always like that void. Who are you putting there that's better, that the teams can listen to?
Jeff, there's better options. I would be fine with leaving Tisdale as assistant, and I know this is going to throw you guys, but bringing Sam Cassell in. You got a player coach, offensive minded coach. He's going to relate to the point guard position and definitely make that impactful, because that's where a majority of our issues lie. Our defense starts at the point guard position and fails miserably and just trickles because everybody has to help.
Yep.
I think bringing somebody like Sam Cassell, I'm not with the D'Antoni experiment again. I think Sam Cassell, bring him in, leave Fizdale where he is. Phil Handy, I completely love, but there's a big difference between a head coach and and what he's doing. So I don't believe him as a head coach works.
Drea, but you can't. They're not going to bring in. He's basically Chauncey with what Portland has going on in prior to the season.
Yeah, I don't see him Chauncey as the same coach, to be honest with you.
No, they have some of the similar background is what I'm talking about. I didn't really want to put that out there, but they have a similar things in their background that line up.
That's what you're talking about. Okay, well, me personally, I need a offensively minded coach. Nobody on our coaching staff is offensively mindset. Everybody's defense and skills, right? We have nobody to help us catapult offensively and put rotations together offensively. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's again, are we putting any of this on these veterans that's been pinned all these years? Like, shouldn't they know these things? Like, we know it. Shouldn't they know it? Shouldn't they try to do something different?
They do. That's why I keep saying I believe that coaching, I believe they're being lazy right now on the court. Like, there's no sense of urgency. Like, that's the thing. Like, once they lose some games.
So is that what the firing of the coach will bring?
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to light a fire some way. I don't know how to do it.
Andrea thinks that firing the coach will do that.
I mean, you can't trade anybody. We don't even have any assets to trade, and we can't trade anybody out. No one's going to.
We don't have many options. Tell us.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we're not trading anybody. So basically, either we firing somebody or we cutting somebody. Other than that, and we're begging Ariza and Nunn to get healthy real quick.
Yeah, but that's our change.
But I'm not saying that's our options now. We're pretty much, this is it. This is the horse that we brought. Now we got to ride that ball.
Okay,
and
so
that's where we're at now.
So everybody saw it in Cleveland, right? You know, LeBron didn't like
the fans.
Who was that guy from overseas? David Black. He didn't like David Black.
Yep.
And then he brought Tyronn Lue in. So literally, that's basically what has to happen. So who is LeBron picking? Because he can't get Tyronn Lue.
That was first choice 2-3 years ago was Tyronn Lue.
Right. So who is he picking to come and coach the team? Because that's basically what the real answer is.
I mean,
who does he? That's the next question. Who does he actually respect? That's not either on the roster or out there that can come in and get him to, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the $1 million question, and I don't think we have that answer.
Yeah.
Only person I can think of is his old coach from St. Mary's.
I mean, it's got to that point where LeBron's like, "Oh, you peasants. There's no one here to coach me. I'm gonna bring somebody from my high school
or one of his friends. Who don't
want to hear? Who don't want to hear talk to me?
Funny.
I don't know. I just think that the Lakers got a lot of work to do, and right now, I mean, unfortunately, I hate to use this word, but they've been exposed, man. They've been exposed. They've been exposed right now.
No, they've already been exposed, and now they have
looking
to
at them, looking at things like, okay, I could take your lunch, man. I could take y'all lunch right now. This is easy money.
I would say this: like, the Lakers could beat anybody in a 1-game series, but they're done for in anything more than that. Like,
they can get lucky, basically.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, talent. Like, they got the gravitas, the ability to smash even the Warriors, whoever, 1 game, but best of 7. Man, they just go ahead and call it a wrap.
And that's the coaching, dude. That's the coaching.
If we played Philly,
I don't think it's the coach. So hear me out. I don't think it's coaching. I think it's A, the coaching, and B, the ability to be coached and cohesiveness. Because you look at the Warriors. I mean, it is coaching, but it's also the ability to gel and mesh, knowing that the goal of unity as the team is better than the individual.
Yeah,
I
agree with that.
That's the problem with Russ, you guys. And I hate it, when we said that, the 10 games he's been doing well. I hate to say this, and I'm not harping on him, I swear, but your point guard should be making other people look better, not himself. And that's the problem.
Yeah, he's not
We
a true
have
point.
That's the issue. We need somebody that's going to go in there and propel people forward. Lonzo goes to the Chicago Bulls, defensively makes a statement, and makes Vucevic, DeMar DeRozan, they all done turned into great facilitators for themselves. Like, he just made everybody bring their game up. And that's what we need. Somebody that can actually be a true point guard. And we don't have that.
Everybody that's left the Lakers has gotten better since they left once LeBron got there. And I'm a huge Kobe fan. I'm a huge Laker fan.
That's a jaded point, though, because they were all young and they've continued to grow. That's a jaded point. And then also it's not fair because you know that on a team with a LeBron and an AD that none of those players are going to get the time that they would get, like a Kuz is getting in Washington or a Caruso is getting there. That's
where the coach and the GM need to play and say, hey, look, these guys are young, they're coming up, they're going to fill you. That's where talking and conversing with your players. I mean, look, Caruso's leading the NBA in steals.
Yeah.
The entire NBA. So everybody that's left there. And if it was just Ingram or just Ball, but it's not. It's almost, I mean, look at Harrell. Montrezl Harrell's sharp right now. I mean, that you could basically start a new team. You could start almost a new starting rotation with the players that have left the Lakers.
Hey,
and that's true. Compete. And look, and they'll know, like, if you listen to a past episode,
the players that the Lakers have traded away. Not necessarily that I've left the Lakers. There's a difference.
Oh, we talk about the people that traded away.
They were traded away. Yeah. All right. Well, this is awesome. I know that we can continue to talk about this forever because there's no quick solution to this. That otherwise we'd all be sitting here and we'd all be really happy. But Money Mike always finishes our show with a segment that we call Money Mike's Out of Bounds. And Money Mike's going to go ahead and share a topic, and he wants to know, in Clubhouse, we want you part of this. We want to know, is his thoughts or opinion on this topic in bounds or out of bounds? Money Mike, go.
Yeah, so you know what? Like, actually, I got this out of bounds in the middle of this conversation that we've been having about the Lakers and what we can do. And I think Andrea brought up about us making the playoffs. Am I out of bounds to say it don't matter if we make the playoffs if we lose in the first round? Because because whether we are in 10th place or we're the A seed and we get swept by, doesn't matter. Because if we get swept, it doesn't. As far as I'm concerned, we never should have made the playoffs anyway. Am I out of bounds for saying that? Like, the goal should not be to make the playoffs.
Let's start with Clubhouse. Anyone in Clubhouse, go ahead and chime in, please.
The goal is to win a championship every year with the Lakers. Doesn't matter what the team looks like. The goal is to win a championship when you're in LA with the Lakers, at least.
All right.
All right. So you sound inbounds. Go ahead. Next.
You're inbounds. I agree.
Okay.
Pat. My answer is win or build towards winning. Right.
You need to see advancement. Yep. You need to see that advancement, that growth.
Right. Or you trade a player to get a couple first rounders, maybe 2022, 2024 first. Like you're to where the fans.
That's completely opposite of what the Lakers are doing around.
And see, look, and let me just say something to that, real quick. You guys know, man. You guys have been hearing me. I didn't want to trade off the team for the team that we had now, because remember, I was saying in my philosophy, we had a good core, second, third year players that were building together, that were getting the chemistry, and I see. Everything to be like in waves, right? And Warriors were at the top at the time. And I'm like, well,
just maybe be patient.
Yeah, just be patient. They'll have the contract disputes and somebody going to get paid more, then they'll start breaking down. And as they start going down, we'll be coming up, and then we can replace them with the young foundational team. But of course, we want to get that name brand players. And then this is kind of what we have.
Yeah. Well, it also got us a championship. So that is a fact.
It did.
It is.
But we blew up that team.
Yeah. I'm gonna say right now, I hope we get our stuff straight real quick, because if Clay got anything in the tank, it's a wrap. I'm letting y'all know right now. Look at me in my face. I'm letting you know right now. If he has anything in the tank, it's a wrap for everybody, not just for us, for everybody, dude. They already have the chemistry. They know exactly what they want to do when they want to do it. They do it, and they do it efficiently. And they're blowing teams out without Clay. If he has anything in the tank, it is a Reynolds wrap. I'm telling you right now, don't even trip. You know it. Everybody in here that are Laker fans know it to be true. They see what it looks like. We know what it looks like. We've been there. We're championship. We know what championship teams look like. That looks like a championship team. We don't. We play them in the first round. We getting a gentleman sweep at best. It's going 5 at best. And I'm just saying that because I'm a Laker fan. We should be swept. That's all real.
Clubhouse, go. Anyone Clubhouse?
Yeah, if he's 80 to 85% of who he was before, it's over. He don't even got to be 90%. He's 85%. I mean, he can just put in 22, 23 minutes off the bench and, rotate in with him and
hit 18 points
and Curry.
Hit 18.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wrap.
I still feel like there's still adjustments that can be made. So I'm not going to panic 100%. Like, the fact of the matter is we're still in December. Trade deadline still has to come up, and adjustments can be made. We've definitely been able to turn water to wine on multiple occasions as a Laker franchise. So I'm going to go on ahead and just hold back and sit tight. But I know that we do need to shake something up. And the first step, cut Kent Bazemore, because I don't know why you're here. And then we can adjust our coaching staff, because at the end of the day, some of these games, we're not getting blown out every game. Let's be clear. We're not. Certain missed assignments, play calls out of timeouts are not there. Things that coaching can help tremendously, we don't have. Even though we are terrible on defense right now, these are certain adjustments we can make and start winning these close games, because Clippers weren't blowing us out. No. We weren't being blown out by about 5 or 6 of our losses. We could have easily won them, whether it would have been in overtime or what happened. Exactly.
And the reason why we're upset is because they should have been blowouts, but the opposite. We should have been blowing them out.
But we're literally talking about most of the people we've been playing have been under 500, and we're talking about the winnable games. So we really haven't gone against the top tier of the league yet.
I'm going to hold you right there. This has been a great episode, you guys. We were pushing really, really far here. So we know we're not going to solve this issue tonight. We're going to watch. We're going to see. There's some important games coming up here, and we're just going to see what the Lakers got going. We'll see what the Lakers got going. We're going to keep an eye. We're all on Vogel watch. The chant has begun from Stat Pat and others.
Yes.
And soon we will know.
That would be my Christmas present. If Vogel is gone by Christmas, that's all I need.
Then you're good. Excellent. All right, Andrea, everybody from Clubhouse, thank you so much for joining. We definitely appreciate your opinions and your thoughts. You guys are the smartest fans in the world, and we appreciate you. To everybody else for watching, thank you. For everybody listening, we appreciate it. We had Big Baby chime in. We had Christine O'Connell chime in on the chats. Thank you so much. Appreciate our guests. Katrina, correct? Yes, Miss Katrina. She got some great information. And we will be back next week as always. We're here every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. We are the Profanity Nation podcast, and we are the voice of the professional fan. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Thanks.
Profanity Nation.
A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.